Welcome, everybody, to another episode of With Disadvantage. I'm your host and DM, Chev, and today we are doing episode 10 of our Solstice campaign. With us today, we have got Violet Agrippa, played by Bryn.
Hello.
Sakar Aru, played by Boris.
Hey.
Sam Blade, played by Rainbow.
Hello.
Marina Vitae, played by Bunsen.
Stay hydrated.
And Alora Wakuda, played by Mirma.
Hello.
And apparently also we do actually have PJ.
Oh
So Audubon, played by PJ.
Oh my gosh, I jumped right into the middle of the intro.
You
Hello
did.
everybody, this is PJ. I play your favorite Audubon. Glad to be here.
Your favorite? That's presumptuous.
No, not at all. If you look at
I guess if you add the qualifier, your favorite Audubon, that's fine.
Has anyone ever noticed how every PJ character is really just an incarnation of his own personality?
Oh, that's
Is it though?
horseshit.
I don't think so.
Just
All right.
screwing with you, Peach.
Let's just do
Hey,
it.
Chev.
What?
We aren't able to pull up the map, I don't think. Like on the images and maps, we don't see any options.
Yeah.
Can you see it if I share it in the chat? Oh, PJ's connecting, so it's of course going to freeze for a sec.
Oh my gosh, you can tell that I'm connecting?
Yeah, it says PJ connected.
Oh, yeah,
Are you
it
guys able to
says
click
on my
that
side
link
that
in
I'm
the
still
chat?
working on acquiring the file list.
Yes, I know. Can you guys click that link in the chat?
It's loading. There it goes.
Okay.
I don't know if I can. I don't. Oh no, there it goes. It's
It's
lagging.
loading because it's frozen.
I'm in the map.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Here we go.
All right, let's do a quick recap of what happened last week. You guys encountered Audubon in the tunnels, so you made your way through the Solar Springs cavern where the water used to come out behind Withelm, and you traveled through the caverns until you encountered some skeletons and kind of this ancient structure that apparently the Dominion has members in, some kobolds inside, as well as some skeletons that seem to animate as you get too close. You guys defeated all those enemies pretty handily, and then you encountered Audubon and Naya, who arrived from the Dominion, and Audubon was in possession of a scroll, and he claims that the scroll is... Well, he claims that Queen Nero claims that the scroll will unlock an ancient door that they've been unable to find. They found the scroll in some other chamber in the Dominion tunnels, and they've been basically told about this chamber, but they've never seen it. But you guys, on your way in through the Solar Springs Cavern, did encounter an ancient door. So everyone, I think, so far is presuming that the scroll belongs to the door, and you guys are trying to make your way back through the tunnels from which you came. You busted your way through a wall after defeating a bugbear and some kobolds that you caught sleeping, so you caught them all off guard. The bugbear knocked out Sam Blade, but you guys were able to come to his rescue and set him up. And then you guys busted through a wall into a secret chamber where a bunch of kobolds were apparently trying to unlock a chest when they were supposed to be guarding the structure. You guys took care of them by, I think Audubon sent them out, disguised himself as one of them, and sent them to go patrol some other tunnel. And you guys opened up the chest and found a bunch of gold, and that's where we left off. So here you are in the chamber, trying, I presume, still trying to make your way back to the ancient door that you found. What do you guys do?
Let's head to the door and open up hell.
Wait, did we check this chest yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually updated your equipment already, Mirma, with the gold amount.
Sweet.
We all got 100 gold.
I think you were too drunk to do it.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Yeah, no, I kind of remember now.
And I think I updated Violet's too because she wasn't here.
Oh yeah. Let me go check. But go on.
That's it. You guys are free to do whatever you would like to do. So Grandpa Willie and Dragthar are still with you guys.
So other than the hole that we bust through the wall, is there any obvious exits?
So there's a hallway right here. Are you able to see the map?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, there's a hallway right there that you guys have not traveled down.
Also, fair point. That's where
the
the
kobolds
kobolds
are.
are.
sent, though.
Can I get a map link, please?
It's like it should be in the chat, but
He
can you
joined
ask it?
after I sent it.
Ah.
The chat doesn't fill in the
Hey,
history.
Director. I don't believe I've had a moment to meet your elderly companion. Who's this?
Sorry, who were you talking to?
Believe his name is Uncle Willie.
Oh, Grandpa
Yeah, who are
Willie.
you talking to about that?
Sorry, you're breaking up, PJ. You talked to Grant. You said asked Grandpa Willie.
No, I asked Dragthar to introduce me to Grandpa Willie. I don't think I've met him yet.
Oh,
Haven't you?
Dragthar says, "I know not of this old man. Apparently, he knows the rest of our group here."
Okay, so who's this hobo connected to?
I beg
I
your
take-
pardon.
I grab Grandpa Willie's arm gently and I say, "This is my grandfather. He is the king's advisor."
I'm gonna grab his other arm and go, yeah, he's the king's advisor.
Let go of me, you fool! He pulls his arm out of your grip, Sam.
That's great. And other than meeting you in the basement of a tavern, briefly, I don't really know you that well. I don't believe I ever got your name.
Who are you talking to?
I'm pretty sure he's talking
Not
to Laura.
you, Sam Blades.
You've been traveling with Sam Blade for a long time.
Yeah, I know him. I'm asking about.
Yes?
I'm asking about Mirama.
Oh,
Yeah, he's asking
Laura?
about. Pretty sure he's asking about Laura.
Oh, okay. Who are you asking to? I'm super confused right now.
He's
Okay,
asking
yeah.
me.
So,
Okay, all right. Sorry, PJ's
So
breaking up
far-
for me.
Oh, I can hear
Okay,
him
yeah.
fine. So.
Oh, okay.
so far, Sam Blades is still blue, and Alora is like all of the the Wilhelmians are still just people that he's seen and bumped into, but hasn't been introduced to.
Gotcha.
And so,
Oh, okay. So I hold up my wrist that has my bracelet with the charm that has the king's charm sigil on it and my grandfather's sigil. Because I just, even though he doesn't, I know, or part of me realizes he's not going to know what that means. But since it's the thing that you do when you're announcing yourself as one of the wizard advisors, I hold that up and I say, "I am Alora Wakuta of the Wakuta family, and I advise," and then I stop for a second, and I realize he's not going to know who the hell I'm talking about anyway. And I clear my throat. I advise various members of the Wilhelm royal family. And I look to Grandpa to kind of cover my tracks for me. I just kind of give him the side eye.
Sorry,
well, it's nice to meet you. I've had extensive relationships with the royal family. And who is your companion?
Are you referring
you're
to
asking-
young Violet here?
I believe so. Which one's Violet?
The one with the witch hat. Just
PJ, you need to be
she
more
just
descriptive.
curtsies.
Like, tell me who you're
Yeah.
gesturing towards. Like, you gotta.
yeah.
Oh, who are you,
gotcha.
good sir?
Because I say, the young companion, you mean Grandpa again?
Like, we have like 10 people here. You gotta tell me who you're looking at and gesturing to.
And who's your blue skinned friend?
Oh. And so I turn to Marina, and I hold my arm out, kind of, towards her. So like, she's a member of the royal family.
Do I hear this?
Yes, young Marina. She is a well-known and well-respected member of the Wilhelm royal family. I'm surprised your Dominion intelligence is so out of date.
Well, Autobot, I didn't know that you fancy blue people.
To be fair, Dominion intelligence is quite the oxymoron.
I like this bird.
Laura
I'd
snickers.
say that's a little bit of an unfair statement.
Yeah, well, all the kobolds of the day I shot while on patrol tells me it seems to fit.
In the meantime,
Well, yeah, their job is to spy and not to fight.
Audavon, didn't you just come here and tell us that you were betrayed by your queen?
Oh, yeah, I did, but I don't see a reason to drag everything they do through the mud. Give credit where credit's due.
in the meantime, I would like to look around this.
And don't underestimate your adversary. I guarantee you we're going to run into problems later down the road with Dominion intelligence. We need to be very careful.
Dominion indoctrination is stronger than I remember.
Oh my gosh.
I turn and I say, "What do you mean, Grandpa?"
Sorry, that was Dragthar.
Oh, sorry. Whoops. I was about to say, what does Grandpa know?
When I go back and forth between voices, little twinges of the other one gets mixed in.
Yeah.
The pleasure is all mine. Does anybody know exactly where we are going? How to get to the door that you guys are talking about?
We must go back from which we came, the entrance to the Solar Springs Cavern.
Okay. I mean, I fancy myself being pretty familiar with Dominion tunnels, but I don't think I've ever gone this far north. Below ground.
These this chamber apparently is some sort of Dominion stronghold or taken over by Dominion nefarious kobold. He just starts to trail off, and then he rights himself, and he's like, but below is our ancient caverns that used to carry the water, but now they are dry.
In the meantime,
yeah. So I'm getting. Speaking of intelligence, I've got conflicting accounts of that. When I was sent away from Queen Nero, she was asking me to investigate why the Dominion pumps are still dry. Wherever the water is gone, the Dominion doesn't have it yet. And then the little kobold that we found next to the treasure chest told me that water was in fact running into the Dominion. So I'm not sure whether the Queen has something up her sleeve. It doesn't make sense that she would, since
maybe I don't know if you just forgot, PJ, but you asked him how long it had been since he had left this chamber, and it had been a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah. So that said, it sounds like they had the water for a minute, and now it is no longer there. So we're gonna have to figure out where it's been routed.
So you did discover that the Dominion was trying to tap into Withelmian waterways.
Well, of course. It makes perfect sense.
Okay, roll an investigation check, Bunsen.
All right. Investigation. 13.
Okay. You search around, you find nothing useful. Someone pocketed that pocket watch, right?
That was Audavon.
Audavon, you put the pocket watch in your inventory?
I believe so.
Okay.
I know that I intended to, that at least we RP'd me taking the pocket watch, but I might have been interrupted when
Okay.
added to my inventory.
So they already searched everywhere in here, Marina. There's nothing left over that you can find. And they did find a shiny little pocket watch, but Audavon pocketed it.
Gotcha.
Well, I suggest we get a move on. The longer the kingdom goes without water, the crazier things are going to get. I have a feeling that the citizens are going to gather in protest.
I'll have to agree wholeheartedly. What are we trying to do with the water when we recover it?
Well, business as usual, I would assume. Although we must deal with the Dominion threat.
Yeah, that's how are we going to do that?
Without the Black Mark members behind us, it will be difficult. But we must remain strong. I know the Dominion. I was slave to their workers in their tunnels for many years.
Well, here's an idea. Let me just throw this out here. Why don't we assassinate the Queen? I become the Queen.
I'm not sure about the latter part of your plan, but assassinating the Queen has been the goal of Black Mark for a long time. But we want to make sure that we can install someone in her place. We must retain control.
I can turn into the Queen. Can you?
It's not about...
Yeah.
that is for us to decide later.
Yeah, I would have to agree with old Uncle Willie over here. Let's start finding that water.
That was
Pretty sure that was
Dragthar.
Dragthar again.
Oh, that was Dragthar?
Yeah, deep voice like this is Dragthar. And then Uncle Willie
Oh, yeah.
sounds like Deckard Cain. Or Grandpa Willie.
All right, Dragthar. Oh, let's go. Lead the way.
You want me to lead the way. Very well. He starts to head down the hallway. Let's see what lies down this corridor. I assume there must be some sort of official entrance. I doubt that the kobold made a hole in the wall. And he goes down and he comes down here and there's a...
Wait, do we want to go that way?
And why is my map entirely black? I do not see anything.
Click your token.
I am, and I'm dragging him through black space.
Don't drag it. Just left click it. Just one left click.
Okay, I've clicked them.
That should
Still
do it.
don't see anything.
You should see vision. The rest of you can
Double-click.
see, right?
I can see.
I can see.
I can see clearly now. The fog is gone.
I'll drag your token over again, I guess.
Let's see.
There. You see now?
No, and then there's like a little box with a question mark in it. I have no idea what this is about.
You should see the box with a question mark in it. What the hell? You must have someone else's vision selected. Left click the
No,
Autovon token.
I did. I mean, it's not hard. I clicked them. I see his little green dot in the bottom right hand corner. And yeah, just the entire screen is black.
Is it still loading?
Well, if you see the
No,
box with the
there's
question mark,
not.
that's part of the map.
Right. I just don't see any. It's, I guess you could say sticking out of the darkness.
That's weird. Oh well, we're about to leave this map anyway, so...
Okay.
Alright, so you follow Dragthar, and Grandpa Willie takes up the rear here, and Naya comes following behind you guys. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so Dragthar, you guys, the Violet and Sam, you are right behind Dragthar, and you see he approaches what looks like just a plain wall, but there is a torch on the wall. And Dragthar kind of looks at it and studies it for a moment, and he just says, this must be some kind of entrance. And he starts pushing the wall, pushing the side walls. And then he goes to grab the torch, and he pulls on the torch, and it comes out of the wall a little bit. And then the wall in front of him slides into the side, and then it opens up. Ha! I knew it! And he steps out into the chamber in here. So he's
Very
now...
impressive.
You guys are now back into the chamber that you guys first entered this map from. So I'll drag you guys' tokens out here. Okay, so this room looks familiar. You guys searched this pretty thoroughly the last time you were here. Does this look familiar to you all? Naya looks around and she seems confused.
Yeah, we came up through that grate over there. I point over.
I don't
This
see
is the
any
same room
grate.
that we killed that barbarian.
What'd you say?
I
No.
said, is this the same? Oh, okay.
I'm gonna turn PJ up here. There we go. Okay. And then Dragthar leads the way. He walks through the corridor here. Well, I expected to see kobolds after Autovon sent them south, but apparently they have made their way elsewhere, unless they are in the tunnel below, so be careful. Be on the lookout.
Personally, because it's kobolds, I suspect they went a different direction entirely.
That is a very good observation. What did you say your name was again? Sakir. That's right.
Yes.
So, where's this door?
We're headed there.
The door is through here. And he pops open the like sewer lid tunnel and hops down inside. So I'm gonna put him down here. So as I'm gonna just assume you guys are all following him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just move you all.
Sakir stands over the grate. just looks for a little bit, then mutters, or is just kind of loud enough so just anyone close enough to him. I've always hated being underground. Oh well.
You've
Cowabunga.
It's something you get used to after a while. It took me a few years.
Okay, I'm gonna let you guys move your tokens now as we keep going. Sakira, I gotta move you down here, and then there's a couple barriers I'll have to jump you guys across, but go ahead and feel free to move your tokens as we go along. Dragthar is leading the way.
Oh.
Okay, and then let's see. Actually, as soon as you guys get up to this point here where you're stopped, I'll move you across. So Violet, I'll bring you over. Secure.
I'm trying my dangest, but I think my game's freezing up or
Uh-oh.
something.
It's because other things are moving.
Like I can't even move the map. I can see stuff moving, but I can't readjust my.
All right. Let's go over this in a much more functional way, which is as nice as like moving our tokens is. How about we stop for a moment and figure out like what order we're moving in? Because this is a tunnel where we're probably gonna be walking more in a single file line anyway.
True.
So it might be better to kind of have like a vague marching order, so
Okay.
everyone isn't just randomly moving their pieces all over the place.
I'll go in the
In
back.
worst case scenario, we can just like move everybody up to where combat is.
That's
so
fine.
we're not.
Let's just RP or theater of the mind it until you guys get to a point where your position is relevant.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys are now in the tunnels below. Everything's still kind of wet. Although it's dried a bit. There's still some puddles here and there, but the water is still nowhere to be found. You guys have come up to the fork in the tunnel here, and you can go right, which I believe is the way you came, or you can keep going straight to where you believe the water came from. It's still pretty obvious which way the water flows through this tunnel. So Dragthar is at the break, and he turns around and he says, "Remind me again which way we came from. I believe we need to go to the right."
That sounds right.
Very well. And so he keeps moving along, and he moves up into the chamber up here, and there is still a bunch of puddles up here. And if I recall correctly, there are elementals in this chamber. They did not appear hostile, correct, Marina?
I talked to them. Let's not bother them if we can, in case they mistake you for not affiliated with me. But I've spoken with one of them, and I told them that we're trying to return the water as well.
Very well. Then I suggest we go upward, or to the right here, and around the way we came before. You encountered the water elemental in this corridor down to the left, I believe. I do not wish to anger any of the creatures that are home to this region.
Right.
Grandpa Willie got left behind. Let's see, there he is.
Oh no.
Grandpa Willie comes up behind both of you, and he just says, "I think it's a good idea we avoid the elementals, although I am quite curious to see what they know about the ancient waters and the magic that is imbued within."
I don't think now's the time.
Very well, very well. You have a good point, Marina.
You know what they say, curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah, but satisfaction brought it back. That's not a very good phrase.
Fair.
Okay. So as you guys are moving through the corridor here, you hear the sloshing of water echoing through the chamber, just whoosh, 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 whoosh.
Does it sound like it's coming from where I met the water elemental?
Roll me a perception check.
Perception. 6.
It's hard to tell. It's echoing around the chamber, so it's really hard to tell direction. So it kind of sounds like it's coming from behind you, but then another one kind of sounds like it's coming from in front of you.
I'm gonna try to stay on guard so that if one does greet us, I can try to be the first one to meet it and talk it down and tell it, "Hey, we're trying to help you."
Okay. All right. So Dragthar goes ahead and pushes forward, and he takes the group up around this corridor. He successfully does not encounter any water elementals on his way up this way.
Alright.
So you guys all follow him up around the bend
Yep.
here. And then as Dragthar peeks around the bend here, he then turns around and kind of comes back to you, Marina. And he just says, "There is a water elemental around this corner."
Let me take this. I can speak to him.
Very well. Go forth.
Alright. So I peek around the corner he mentioned.
Okay. And as you do, you spot a water elemental. Hold on a second. There he is. Can you see it now?
Yep.
Okay. And he is just slowly moving through the corridor, and he passes over a small puddle, and just like the puddle gets sucked up into his body, basically, and he just kind of keeps flowing around like a wave that's just kind of moving through the corridor, and he's headed your direction.
I'm going to try to unthreateningly walk into his sight, and I'm going to say, "Hello, are you the one I met earlier?"
You again! He kind of stops, and a mouth forms in the center of the wave, and he just says, "Have you restored my water?"
No, but I think we have a good lead.
Lead? What is this lead?
So we think that opening this ancient door that we came across earlier, we think that might bring back the water, and we have something that'll open it.
Ancient door. Where do you intend to go from here?
The way that we're headed is past you, my friend.
The corridor behind me is treacherous. The waters will carry you into the open.
Waters? I thought we passed through here earlier.
Well, there is no water anymore, but I still won't go that way for fear of what might happen.
Would you allow us to pass by you, friend, so we can try to return your water?
Very well. And he kind of moves to the side. And he says, "Please restore my water. I cannot survive on these puddles for much longer."
Could I use a small amount of create water just as a friendly gesture, like here?
Sure, yeah.
As I pass by, try to help him out a bit.
Go ahead.
For small amounts, it's like it's not a roll or anything. I just kind of do it.
Yeah, no, I just want you to describe it.
Oh, as I pass by him, I face my hand towards him and shoot a little water out of my palm towards him with only a little force, so it doesn't look threatening. Just spraying some water for him.
Okay. All right, so the water comes out and hits him and kind of mists over him, and he just says, "Ah, thank you, friend. You are truly benevolent.
Take care. I hope we can help you with the water."
Please, please do. I have faith in you all. I hope you can restore the waters and the magics that keep us alive."
Thanks for the vote of confidence, friend.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just take you guys into the next map here. So here's a link to the map. So you guys travel down the corridor, and you find the stairwell. It's a very ancient and eroded stairwell, as I think we described last time. Let's put you all in here. Oh, geez. I hate that it does
What's
that.
the name of that watch? Still trying to
Watch?
find it. Yeah,
It
the
was
pocket
just
watch that
something
I...
like dingy pocket watch or something. I don't remember. It was
Okay.
not really of any consequence. Okay, can you guys all see now?
No,
I can
No?
see.
I don't think I'm on the map yet. Oh,
Did you not click at the link I gave?
my character looks like it's off map with Nedja.
Oh, sorry. Yep, I see. Well, you guys put way over there. Okay, there you go. Can you see now?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
All right, so you guys are back in the familiar wet cavern that's full of large roots. As you guys have gotten closer to the surface of the mountains, the roots are starting to show again from these ancient large trees. And there's some in here right above the stairwell. And they've seemed to overgrown some of the structures that used to exist in here, one of them being a sort of barrier that kind of holds the walls of the waterway, and the roots grown over it, as you can see right there on the map, and it's just broken through the wood, and there's splintered wood everywhere.
Hey, Grandpa Willie, does this caverns have a name?
Hold on, I gotta get Grandpa Willie's token. There he is. Can I just drag him from map to map? Nope, he vanished. Okay,
Hi, Grandpa.
there he is. Oh, I got lost for a moment.
Where else in you?
So, what'd you ask him, Rainbow?
I said, does this caverns have a name?
Not an official name. It was just the Solar Springs. I've been calling it the Solar Springs Cavern.
Huh.
Let us make our way to the
Doesn't look
door.
right.
And he steps over the stuff here. And Dragthar follows.
Would I be leading since the water elemental?
Yes. Yeah, since you've stepped forward, Dragthar's just kind of following you. Your order kind of doesn't matter at this point. You guys encounter the door, and it looks just as you recall it before. And so Grandpa Willie walks up and says, The door looks undisturbed, but be careful. Another creature might emerge.
Well, how do we know that this is going to open up to water and not like a hellish dimension?
I mean, do we have any other leads?
I know not
No,
what
but
lies
what
on the
if-
other side of the door.
This could be the
Audubon!
hell dimension. How do we know?
Audubon, where are you?
I'm right here. I've got my scroll from the queen here.
Yes,
That's supposed
yes,
to get me through this thing.
Hold on. Before you use any scroll or anything, did your queen give you any information that we might find useful about this chamber? Why did she want you to find it?
She wanted me to recover the water. She said that the secret door, this ancient door, might have something to do with it, but she didn't really give me much more detail beyond that. She told me to investigate, and that my investigation would lead me here. And so, yeah, I'm as in the dark as all of you as to what's on the other side. My thought is if you have anything that floats, maybe now would be the time to pull it out. So if water comes rushing through when we crack this thing open.
Marina, are you able to do something in case the water does come running through? You're quite fancy with your water skills.
Yes, as long as the opening isn't too large, I should be able to hold water back if it tries to flood out quickly.
Very well, very well. Be prepared when we open this door. Now,
Right.
apparently the queen does not know what this door is, but does she know where the scroll came from? Did she tell you that, Ottovan?
I don't believe so. I asked. She was in a mood to execute me at the time, so I wasn't really asking very many questions about it. And in retrospect, I probably should have, but I was just happy to get out of there intact.
I know where
Oh.
the scroll came from.
Oh, great. So this might be her way of getting rid of you.
No, if she wanted to get rid of me, I'd already be gone. I mean, I was literally
before
on
I
death
was
row.
before I was liberated from the Dominion, I encountered a chamber. There I was mining tunnels, as most of my kind were forced to do, and some kobolds broke their way into a tunnel. A light burst forth, and they fled from the scene. I was not deterred. My life was already a living hell. My curiosity got the better of me, and I made my way into the chamber. In the chamber, I encountered our god, Piritesh herself. She appeared to me. She is my patron. She has granted me the powers that I have now. She imbued me with a light. It gave me the power that I wield, and I used it to break out of the Dominion, to murder everyone in my path, liberate my fellow tieflings, and join the Black Mark Underground Rebellion. Now, that chamber was filled with all sorts of mysterious ancient artifacts. I suspect that this scroll was found somewhere in that chamber. Now, I did not spend time in there, Piratesh did not give me any information aside from what she wanted me to do. She told me that the Dominion was a threat to our existence and that I should fight against them, which I was happy to do. And that is what I have tried to do since. But she said she is the one who informed me that the Dominion would try to steal the water from Withelm.
Do I recall the name Piratesh?
Yes, you all. It's from the document I shared with you guys. Piratesh. So there's a couple major religions. One of them are the Puritans that believe in the god Piratesh, and she's basically a sun god. She appeared to me. She was a slender elf woman, very godlike. She was sort of translucent. She blessed me with the powers I have. She is a benevolent being.
Yeah, did she happen to say anything about Maethor?
No, she did not.
What did she tell you?
I just told you. She told me that the Dominion was a threat to our existence and that I should escape and fight against them, using my newfound powers.
Well, I don't think Maethor is going to be very happy about that.
Who is this Maethor?
Well, you know, Piratesh's spouse, god of the earth. He's supposed to gaze into her eyes for eternity, that kind of thing. And the Dominion, the key belief of the Dominion, at least before Queen Nero got involved, was that as the celestial parents, they don't, the Piratesh and Maethor don't wish to see us on Solstice fighting.
Maethor is just a myth.
Well, Dragthor, with great power comes great responsibility.
Sure. Wise words.
Oh.
Now, should we open the door and prepare for the worst?
Open it.
Yes, let's open the door now. I'm tired of standing here. I need to
turn you into a
eat.
statue for calling him a myth. I'm not going to stand in his way.
So it was, sorry, I know that I'm trying my best, but it was Grandpa Willie who got stubborn and said it was a myth. The rest of it was Dragthar.
In the meantime, I've been trying to investigate the dimensions of the door. Like, what appears to me to be, like, how large is what appears to be, like, how it'll open, from what I can tell.
So it looks like, I mean, it's pretty symmetrical, like as you can see on the map there. And it looks like either that door is going to open down the middle or something, but it's hard to tell.
The thing on the floor, correct? Like this whole
Yes.
thing? That's going to be trouble. My shape water can only do 2 cubic feet, or 2 instances of 5 cube feet.
Just do your best, Marina. We don't have a choice. We must open this door and unlock the ancient magic that resides within.
Right. Autovan, should I use the scroll? The rest of you might want to stand back in case there's water in here.
Autovan,
Here.
give Marina the scroll. Autovan? Hello? Hello?
Nobody was reacting to what I was saying. Good heavens, I hate when this does this. And it's like an hour in duration. Anyway, I think that maybe you should focus on being ready to react to whatever happens and cast a spell to save our lives. I'll start reading from the scroll.
All right.
I will prepare to cast a seal like I did on the skeleton chamber.
I'll step aside to give Autovan space to stand in the middle of the stairs.
Okay.
Hey, here I go.
Naya gets behind
That-
you, Autovan, just kind of like tucks herself behind you very nervously.
I'm going to create a Eldritch cannon. That's a hand cannon. That's going to be the flamethrower cannon, whatever that is.
Okay.
Radnalak, Seton, God,
You should stand over here, shouldn't you?
Elibom, Okag, Rebu, Spam.
Suddenly, you guys hear rumbling, and the floor starts to shake. And then this door like flashes as this blue hue seems to wash over it and then dissipate from it, and then the door starts to very rigidly go open in this direction. So basically, from the stairs, it slides backward that direction as it opens up, revealing a hole in the floor before you, Marina. There is no water inside. It's very dark. It looks like just more cave down below as you drop in, if you were to drop in.
Well, it's a good day. We're not going to drown. Let's take a look-see. I'm going to peek in, and I understand that it's dark. I'm going to use my night vision
Before
to
anyone
see as
heads
far
in
as I can.
there, I have spent many years studying this ancient magic, and while I don't know much about whatever ancient creatures imbued the water and the surrounding areas, I do know this. There is much talk of legend of booby traps and devices to protect everything that the ancients held dear. Please don't just jump in willy-nilly.
That's mighty brave of you offering to go first, Willie. We'll accept that.
I will go first if it serves the group. And he steps up onto the steps.
Allura grabs his hand and says, "Grandpa, maybe we should stay as close together as possible."
Very
Yeah,
well.
so if we
Everyone
run into
gather
a trap,
around.
kill us all at once. That's a great idea.
I'm sorry, I meant we as in me and him.
Oh, okay.
I should have clarified.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
for the rest of us, I think we should stagger just a little bit.
very well. Then stagger in
Perhaps.
that direction. And he points this way, because that is the direction from which we came. If there is water or anything that bursts forth, you want to be washed that direction.
There is no water?
There's no water right now.
Not yet, there isn't.
So here's a question. When we go in there to explore, should we close it so no ancient evil gets out?
No, if it does, let it.
Do not listen to this Dominion spy. It is a good
Who's he
idea. We should close the door behind us. Give me the scroll. And he reaches his hand out to you, Ottovon.
What do you need the scroll for? I already opened the damn door.
I will close it behind us as we get inside.
Fine, I'll close it. Well, I'm telling you, a little bit of disorder might be a great thing, especially seeing as how it's so close to Dominion tunnels.
Yes. The Dominion loves disorder.
No, you don't understand. In a field battle, the Dominion would wipe the floor with either of the two other kingdoms. They have all the steel, they have all the armor.
I don't know how this
And
is
so
relevant.
What are the dimensions of the hole in the ground? And is it a drop or is there like a?
It's
is it an
relevant
angle?
because if a monster escapes and causes some chaos on the Dominion side, it will even the odds. Whereas if everything goes on peacefully and uninterrupted, it's going to be a much more difficult battle when push comes to shove for either with him or oh gosh, help me with the name.
Trelesta.
Well, if the Dominion's supposed to be
Alexa.
stronger and they can't handle this monster, how is everyone else going to handle this monster?
Who cares? We'll figure that out later.
So, Violet, you're peering over the edge then?
Yeah, I do have dark vision, so.
Okay. The door looks to be about 25 feet wide, Bunsen.
Well, no, like, is the entire opening a huge hole? Is it a stark drop down? Is there an incline we walk down?
So the door slid back from right here. So the door is now gone. So let's see. Can I do... Oh, I forgot. I have these fancy tools. Let's see here.
I mean, if you all
So-
insist, I'll shut the door, but I see a few more benefits to leaving it open.
Okay, so this is the hole here, this black area in this square. And it's hard to see in there. All you see is probably about 10 feet down is a dirt floor. From the light that you guys have, that's all you see down there.
So there's no steps or anything like
No
that?
steps. Nope. It's a 10-foot drop.
Does anyone have rope, and is there something we could secure rope to?
It's only 10 foot. We can
Well,
jump that.
there are these huge roots and other things.
Well, we're going on way out if we're trying to leave.
Time is of
Wait,
the
how-
essence, and he dives in, and then he kind of raises his hands over his head, and he kind of alternatingly with his hands pats his head, and then suddenly he starts falling slowly, as he falls into the chamber and he lands on the floor. And then he
I jump
pauses and he holds very still and he looks around. And then Sam comes in right behind and poof, you fall onto the ground. Roll me
We're all very impressed.
Roll me an acrobatics check, Sam. Okay, so you fall, you bend at the knees just perfectly, and you land in there without issue. And Grandpa Willie looks around and he just says, "You're reckless, Sam. That was reckless." And then he takes a couple steps forward and he says, "The path seems clear. Everyone follow."
Sakara just glides down with his wings.
I say that Willie, if a
Hey.
whole man.
Hold on, let Violet talk.
I am going to quickly put a hand on Marina's arm and cast light on her.
Okay.
So when she goes down, it's not completely dark for those who can't see in the dark.
Can you,
And then
can
I'm
you
gonna
cast
come
light
over
on
here and-
creatures?
It's on touch.
Yes.
As long as they're
but-
willing.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So then I'm going to secure a rope here.
Okay.
I think that works. Let
Roll me a performance check.
And well, that's
Could
going
I-
on. No, go ahead.
Could I assist?
Yeah.
Sure. Go roll a
I would
performance check with
also-
advantage.
I would also like to use guidance to give a plus 1d4 to the roll.
Okay.
Ooh, glad I had that.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay. All right, so you tie a
Okay.
pretty secure knot around these roots here. The roots are old and slippery, but you seem to have found some good grooves to tie it to, so and it seems pretty sturdy. And you dangle it
Yeah.
into the hole.
Yeah, I just don't want us to. I want us to have a way to get back up. Is the big thing if something happens.
Right.
In a worst case scenario, I'm out of rope and I can go buy another. That's not hard.
Good thinking,
Okay, so
Violet.
what's the vote? Am I closing this door?
So now we can climb down, which is still going to require me probably an athletics or acrobatics check, and I'm fine with that.
That's actually a good question. I don't know if we can close the door if we have the rope here.
I'd rather not close the door if
Yeah, that's gonna cut the
Very
rope.
well. If there
'Cause
is
I
an
can-
ancient evil in here, we will have to quill it before it reaches the door then.
All right, after you.
So as that was going, I say to Grandpa Willie, well, if old folk like you can jump down here, I sure can.
acrobatics or athletics.
Acrobatics.
Or okay. Ooh, I got lucky. I have nothing on acrobatics or athletics. I'm better off on acrobatics anyway.
Could you describe how I'm glowing?
I'm gonna give you a light that is like. Can I change the color of the light? Hang on.
Yes,
You
you
can.
can.
It's been a bit. Yeah, colored as I like. I'm gonna give it blue light, cause matching.
Hey,
Okay.
Mirama, does Grandpa
Yeah.
Willie
I can't see
have,
anything.
Is his name spelled with an I-E or a Y?
IE,
Okay.
I believe.
All right. We've come to a completely pitch black map as far as I'm concerned.
Me too.
Yes.
We were
I give you
removed
some
from
tokens.
the caverns map, that's why.
Weird.
Yes, so I'm closing the caverns map, and then I'm going to share this map with you guys.
I would also like to climb down the rope.
Yes.
Of course.
Roll me an athletics check real fast, Marina.
Do I get to choose between acrobatics and athletics?
No, this is an athletics thing. I don't see how strength is super relevant.
Athletics would be strength.
Oh, did I say athletics? I meant acrobatics.
Okay. That is a 12.
Okay, cool. All right, so you guys all make your way down without too much trouble, and you guys drop down into
All
this
right.
chamber. And as soon as you do, as soon as the last
I'm
of
gonna
you,
climb down as well.
oh, okay, yeah, everyone who's climbing
And-
down, roll an athletic or acrobatics check,
Acrobatics.
except for Sakara who flew, and anybody who's doing anything special to come down without the rope.
All
Okay.
right, we're good.
Sweet. All right, so as you guys come down, suddenly your eyes adjust to the darkness in here, and you can see a sort of red glow from across this room.
Does it look purple because I'm glowing blue?
let's see. Are you guys able to? Okay. Are you guys able to see anything on this map?
No, I am.
I can see. I just
Okay.
can't see past the sign.
Okay. I don't know why I'm not seeing. Hold on, I'm gonna reopen this map. For some reason, I'm not seeing the lines of sight.
Okay, so did we just climb down the big hole that's in front of us, surrounded
No.
by?
No. So now that you guys are down here, there we go. Is that no? What's going on with this thing? Is there a global mask? Is that the what? Is that why? No. So you guys can see the big hole then, because for some reason
Yeah.
I'm having a weird issue with the line
Yeah.
of sight.
Oh, there we go.
I'm just gonna
Yes,
take this
it's
off.
quite a nice
honestly,
hole.
there we go. Forget it. It's a small chamber. Okay, so as you guys are dropped down in here. Oh wait, now you guys can see the trees on the edge, can't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretend you
It
can't
sure
see
looks
those.
like a long way.
You guys are underground, and so I used this map and I tried to hide the trees, but apparently it's being stupid.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
So pretend you don't see the trees, you just see the walls, but you do see the roots growing down in front of you. So you guys see that there's a huge gap, and there is this weird yellow-black tape all around it with a sign that says "Mind the Gap." And on the other side of the hole, these roots come down and cover these consoles that look like some sort of technology. These consoles are embedded in the roots on the other side of this chamber. They are very they're very old looking. They've got like just like weeds and stuff growing around them, and they're damaged looking. It's hard to tell exactly what they are, but they definitely look like they've been there for a long time.
Hey,
Can I roll an
Secure,
investigation check?
Sure.
Yeah.
why don't you stretch out your wings and see what's down this hole?
I would like to assist with the investigation check.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Good try, Sam. Good try.
Okay, so roll with advantage. 2 4s.
Oh my gosh, I rolled 2 4s. Break.
Okay. As you look around these consoles, you can see that they're embedded in these roots, and they look like that they're some type of technology you've never seen before. They're definitely constructed. The tech looks very similar to the door you just passed through. It's made of the same alloys. But there's very clearly a large root that has grown behind them, and they're kind of bulging out of where they were originally placed because of this root that's pushing the consoles outward.
I'm gonna check my scroll and see if there's anything else written on it that might help with these. That might help explain these machines.
And the scroll only has the incantation for the door, apparently.
All right, I'm gonna read that for the for these machines.
Okay.
I'm gonna do something really weird, which is are there like
Radnalak.
rocks or pebbles in this room at all that I
Yes.
can pick up?
Yeah, there's plenty of rocks.
I'm gonna pick one up. I'm gonna recast light on it, and I'm gonna drop it down the hole.
Okay. All right, so
I want to see how far it goes down.
you drop it down the hole, and you can see it for quite a ways as it falls downward and downward, but then it just disappears and you don't see it anymore.
Oof.
On the consoles, does it look like the screen? Are the screens on, or does it appear
No.
to be off?
They are off.
And did the incantation do anything?
No, the incantation didn't do anything. You chanted it a couple times. Nothing seemed to happen.
Are there buttons or switches in front of the screens?
Oh wait, hold on, Audavon. Let's see, how far are you? Okay, so you finished the incantation, and as you finish the incantation, you guys all hear behind you.
That doesn't sound good.
That was the door closing, wasn't it?
It was.
Give the rope a tug. Sever the rope.
I swear to God.
Okay, and then
Check the rope.
So
It's probably fucked.
all right, so
That cut our way back up.
Okay, so Sam, are you headed back to check the rope?
Yeah.
Okay, you get back there, and the rope has fallen to the floor.
How much rope is left on the floor?
How many feet of rope was it?
I had 50 feet of rope.
Okay, so it was about, I think, 15 feet from the rock to the door, or the root to the door, so it's about 35 feet left.
Okay, can I put that in my bag?
Sure.
Okay.
Sam picks up your rope and puts it in his bag.
Well, I guess we don't have to worry about any monsters escaping now. Grandpa Willie will be happy.
Well, since you ruined our only way out, but it's only 10 feet, let's continue. Let's investigate whatever this is.
Do I see any like buttons and switches in front of the screens on the consoles?
Yeah, there's lots of them. So these consoles have a couple displays right on them, and there are basically the equivalent of keyboards, but they have really weird symbols that you don't recognize on them. But there are plenty of buttons, and there is a little keypad on the right side too that's just got more buttons with more symbols. And there's little bulbs that look like they should be lit up, like if they were lights, they would light up.
Do any of the buttons look more different than the others or stand out?
I'm gonna come up here and join her.
They just have
I'm
different
gonna look
symbols.
down. I'm gonna look down the hole.
Okay.
Because I can see 60 feet in the dark. Can I see the bottom?
No.
How long did you say the rope was? I gotta put that in notes.
No, Violet already
35
dropped
feet.
a lit rock down there too, and you can't even see that.
A lit
Oh,
rock
yeah.
is a weird word.
So on
It's a
these,
really awesome rock.
I
on
can
these,
go for a lit rock right now.
He sold me weed.
on these buttons, there's absolutely nothing that even looks close to anything I would recognize.
Nope, nothing.
I'm gonna push one button.
Okay, you push it, and just like a keyboard you know in real life, it just presses down and then kind of pops back up.
I want to cast Detect Magic and take a good look at the keyboard in front of us, the buttons.
Okay, so as soon as you do that, all the consoles glow, just like the water, just like everything else. That same ancient magic. You're not able to recognize it as anything else but that ancient magic. Excuse me, ancient magical energy.
I'm gonna push all the buttons.
Okay, you swipe across and push a bunch of buttons, the same as before. They just depress and then they pop back up.
Okay, look
So
at
I
the
say
side.
out loud what I see. I say, "Oh, this has the same ancient magical energy as everything else around here."
Can I look at the sides of the consoles?
Yes. Okay, so you look at the sides and you can clearly see that there is a root that's kind of running down and behind this console, and it's popped the console forward. This console is more forward than this console, than the left one. And the left console is still pushed out of its socket a little bit, but this first one is super pushed out of the socket there.
Does it look like I could pull it out?
The console, probably with help. It looks like it's probably pretty heavy.
Oh, you know what I have? I have a pickaxe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna knock on the tree and say, "Hello, hello, are you there?"
Nothing.
I
happens.
think I'm gonna try to use my pickaxe as a crowbar.
Okay. All right. So roll me a acrobatics or athletics check.
Does anyone want to help me with this? I like put the pick in position. I turn back to everyone. It's like this looks like it could come out. Can I get some help?
You and that
Allura
crowbar.
says, "Why are you trying to remove it?"
Well, I think that's you, Naya.
Be careful there, Marina. If this technology is what's going to restore the water, you might damage it further.
I mean, we have someone that pushed every button. Nothing seemed to happen.
Maybe it's broken. Maybe we should try to fix it.
It does look to be in all sorts of disarray.
Maybe there's something behind it that we could use to fix it.
Does
Well,
anyone
and
is anyone
I
able
think
to
that she's
magically mend it?
well qualified to be working on the ancient machinery.
Has anyone tried to turn it off and turn it back on again?
There's nothing that looks like a power button or anything, if that's what you're wondering. All the buttons they're all scrunched together in basically a keyboard area, and they all have just varying ancient symbols on them. None of them really stand out from each other.
Hey, Grandpa Willie, you know anything about this stuff? You was probably around when this was built.
You gotta stop that, Sam. Can we get rid of him? How far down is this hole?
Is anyone stepping forward?
Apparently very far, but I'm willing to let you check.
Is anyone stepping forward to help me with trying to wrench this out?
Doesn't look like it.
I'll come over and help.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry. Sorry,
All right.
I was up for a second.
Elora is unsure about pulling it from its spot, so
I mean,
Is
it's gonna
anyone
watch.
capable of mending it magically?
No, that's not really my forte.
Anyone
Yeah.
else?
Okay, so roll athletics with advantage, Marina.
all right. Well, my reasoning is it looks like it's already pulled out of place. I don't know. It might. Might already be in disrepair already. And I also would like
Just
to
be
cast guidance
careful.
on I'd like to cast guidance on myself as well, so I get an extra D4.
Dragthar kind of looks up. He's been in the back kind of studying it, and he looks over the console and he says, "This looks very familiar. This looks a lot like what I saw in the chamber in the Dominion."
I got a natural 20 and a D4 on the D4.
Nice. What's the D4 for?
I used guidance on myself.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. So with ease, you pry open or pry the console out of its socket, and it slides out, and you can see behind it there is a root that has just slowly grown and pushed it out of place, and the root is crushing a large cable that's coming from behind it. It's probably about a foot in diameter, this large cable, and you can see that there's like exposed wire that's disconnected from the back of this console here, and the root has like grown through it. And then as you pull the console out, you're able to see behind the other console and also this large cable in the same spot on the other console has also been disconnected. The cable on that one looks a little more intact though, less mangled from the root. It's just kind of been popped out of the console.
I don't imagine it would occur to me to see if I could reattach the cable.
Well, so not with the root in the way, no.
Could I swing my pick at the root?
Sure. Roll another athletics check.
All right.
That one he gets electrocuted.
Or Violet, do you want to assist with this one?
Yeah.
All right. I'm also using guidance again.
Okay.
Oops, that's not advantage. Athletics. Give me that. That is a 12.
Okay. So you're able to chip away at the root. The root's kind of mushy, and it kind of your pickaxe chops about half of it away.
Can I chop the rest of it away?
Sure, you can do it again if you want.
I assume I'm getting assisted again.
Yeah, of course.
Alright. That is a 16.
Okay, so you're able to easily clear out the rest of the root with some work. You kind of chop at the rest of it. You pull it out from behind the consoles, and now you've exposed that there are so one of the cables is super mangled. It does not look like you can easily put it back into the socket that it was originally in. But the other one, for the second console here, looks to be pretty intact.
Could I try to reattach that one?
To which console? The second one?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you plug that in, and the console lights up. Oops, not that one. That one. Okay. So you plug in the cable, and it comes to life. All of a sudden, these lights shine up. The keyboard lights up. The little keypad on the right lights up, and you just see all sorts of this ancient writing or whatever like stream across the screens on these displays. And all of a sudden, a little light lights up on the corner of it, and it starts to project light outward in front of you. It shines on you, Elora, and you, Audavon, a little bit.
I'm gonna cast comprehend languages to see if I can figure out what the what it is that's written on the screen.
I would also like to
And-
step out from behind the consoles.
And would a history check be able to help me at all with trying to decipher this? Maybe something I'd read in a textbook at some point or something.
So I'm gonna just not even make you guys roll because no matter how hard you try, you guys have never seen anything like this language before. Okay.
Does comprehend languages
No,
read it?
no, it does not.
Oh.
Well, okay. Read comprehend languages to me.
For the duration, you understand the literal meaning of any spoken language that you hear, or you understand any written language that you see. But you must be touching the surface on which the words are written. It takes about 1 minute to read
Oh.
1 page text.
Okay, I didn't realize it was so general. All right, yeah, go ahead. Touch the console then.
Okay,
and so
I'm
this-
going to.
This light that's shining outward as you go to touch the console. As soon as you touch the console, you see the screen all of a sudden showing a bunch of data, and it's now in common or a language you understand to you. Basically, you can read it, but it still seems very cryptic. It's talking about like biometric data and radiometric data and all sorts of stuff that just doesn't make any sense to you. And while you're trying to figure it out, the light that's shining forth, it kind of shines past you and Allura. It forms into a person, and you kind of see the image of this elven-looking woman who with fiery hair. And Dragthar says, "It is her! Piratesh! She has appeared to us all! You all see her, right?
See who?
Piratesh!
Oh, hey.
I have done your bidding. I tried to fight the Dominion, but I have failed you. My rebellion has been quelled. They were drowned underground." And then it's kind of a translucent looking figure, and she just says, "Very well, Dragthar, I'm aware of what has happened, of what has transpired. I understand that you did your best. It does not matter, as you made your way to this chamber as I knew you would. Welcome, everyone. I am Piratesh." And then she kind of looks around the room and kind of paces back and forth a little bit, and she just says, "Are you all followers of Dragthar?"
I'm gonna look exactly like her.
Yeah, I like to consider myself as more of a friend.
I'm a follower of my own path, but for now, my path and Dragthars have crossed several times.
I don't say anything. I just reach out and try to touch her hand.
Okay, so as you reach out and try to touch her hand, your hand goes through her hand. And she just says, I exist on an immaterial plane.
I
I
walk up to her and
gasp
go.
loudly.
I walk up to her and go, "Hello, sister."
That is a nice trick. What is your name? She says to you.
My name is Blue.
Well, hello, Blue. Thank you all for restoring power to the console here. You saying
Could
something?
could I try and make an insight check on her claiming to be from another plane?
Sure.
That is a 7.
Okay, so it's hard to tell. It's hard to read her as she's kind of this translucent-looking spirit. But she seems to be genuine. She comes across pretty genuine. And she's just looking around at all of you, and she just says, I understand you have made your way here to restore water to your kingdom. I can help you with that."
Well, how did you give Dragthar over here powers?
"I bestowed powers upon Dragthar so that he may fight against the evils of the Dominion. The Dominion, in the future, the Dominion would overtake the kingdom. Prosperity would be no more.
Are you a time traveler?
I can see all."
That doesn't answer my question.
I turn to Grandpa
Time is an
Willie and I
irrelevant
whisper.
concept on the plane in which I exist.
I whisper to him. I say, "Is she a spirit?"
Spirit is an apt descriptor for me. She totally hears you, even though you're whispering.
Do we know what computers are?
Omnipresence,
did-
a certain amount of omnipotence.
Are you asking about whether your characters know what computers are?
Yeah, are they common knowledge?
No, you guys have never seen a computer before until now. It just
You know,
it's just
I have
it's just ancient tech, basically ancient magic.
I have one question that's it's really digging to deep down. Where does this hole go?
Ah, the ancient excuse me, the ancients who built this chamber and in fact everything they created everything. They were digging further down to investigate what lies beneath the surface. This room was intended to be something else. They were going to install much larger magical infrastructure in here, but before the ancients were wiped out, they left much behind, much work undone.
I point to the tree and go, "Is that tree you?"
And she turns around and looks at the tree, and she just says, "Ah, yes, the tree, the ancient magic that is imbued within these chambers such as these allow me to communicate with the material plane."
Oh, I still have detect magic on. Can I see magic from her?
So the same ancient magic is emanating from her and the consoles and the tree and everything around here. You're just kind of seeing the hue of this like blue magic basically, and she's just kind of emanating it forth.
Well, you gave Dracthar over here powers. Can you give us anything to help us?
I cannot imbue you with powers. The chamber in which Dragthar found allowed me to cross further into your plane. I was able to give him the power to find this chamber. I am tasking all of you, should you choose to accept it, with a quest. There are other regions of the world in which you inhabit besides the kingdom where you reside that are also suffering from a lack of water. I need you all to venture forth and reactivate the consoles in those regions to restore the water.
What's a console?
The consoles are what you see behind me. They are magical devices, crafted by the ancients with the use of ancient magic unknown to your kind.
Does that mean now that we've reactivated this console that our water has been restored to our kingdom?
No. This console allows you contact with with my realm. The other console is the one you wish to use to gain access to the controls that will restore water to this region.
Where is it?
The
So are
world in which you
You're telling
inhabit.
us that there's more than just the three kingdoms.
Wait,
Can't hear
what?
you.
I can't hear you.
Asked.
All I heard
Are
is
you telling
ass.
us? Are you telling us that there are more kingdoms out there than Trilesta, Wilhelm, and the Dominion?
Yes, there are many peoples who inhabit various regions of Solstice.
But we can't cross out of this area.
And who told you that?
Grandpa Willie.
Well,
It's common knowledge.
You can leave the area, but there's no water. You must stay within the kingdom if you wish to live.
You do know my kind doesn't come from this plane, so I mean, it makes sense that there are other areas.
I
Yes.
can make water if we need.
You are Aarakocra. In fact, your region is also a region affected by a lack of water. Your fellow Aarakocrans are suffering right now. In fact, that is the first place I must send you. Please head east through the mountains behind the Wilhelm Kingdom.
But what's down this hole? Did you ever tell us that?
I do not know what lies at the bottom of this hole, but it is irrelevant. There is nothing useful down there.
So what do we do about the Dominion in the short term?
Well, we must first restore the water. If you choose to stop the Dominion from trying to subvert your plans, I understand, and take care of that first. But once you have restored peace to your kingdom, I must ask that you help others.
So then, that's what I don't understand. The Dominion stole the water, and then somebody stole the water from them. Who stole the water from them? Where is it?
The Dominion failed in stealing the water. The water has been... deactivated by the fact that these consoles are no longer working.
Gotcha.
Oh man,
so,
I bet it would make the
So-
Dominions so mad if Wilhelm's water started flowing again.
So I also stuttered, but I am intending to reveal that she stuttered a little bit in answering that, Audubon.
Do you want to make an insight check on that?
yes.
Oh, where'd she go?
What do you mean? She's right here.
Oh, it's just disappeared off my map. I see her now.
Man, the dice don't
She
want
seems
me to.
pretty legit to you.
Could I make an insight check?
Sure.
I would also like to use guidance on myself for this.
Okay.
You said she's an elfish woman, or what?
Yeah. She's a pretty tall, elvish woman with fiery hair.
That is a
Alright.
not natural 20.
All right, so you definitely catch the fact that she stuttered in answering the question about what actually happened to the water.
Well, thanks for the nice new hot look.
I hope
Now-
you enjoy the aesthetics of my appearance.
It's a
These
nice
things do not
summer
matter on my realm, on my plane, but I understand that material appearances matter to all of you. Sorry, what'd you say, Bryn?
Oh, it's a nice summer look. Also, at material things, you just see Violet like grab her hat for a moment, like no, like don't sass my hat.
I. Here's a question: how much of a presence does it appear that she has in the space? Like, is she intimidating by her presence?
No, not super intimidating, but she's definitely looks very spiritual, very translucent as she walks around. And she's also somehow connected to the magical consoles, as the light emanating from the consoles is kind of like washing over her body.
How are you gonna send us there? You gonna send us to a boat or what?
Send you where?
You said you're gonna send us somewhere.
No, I asked you to head east.
You know what? I feel very personal. I feel very personally about all this water business. So I'm going to. It might be dangerous, but I'm going to ask this god. Can you tell us what really happened to the water?
I just told you, the fact that these consoles are no longer working is preventing the water from flowing.
Who took the water?
No one took the
What-
water. The consoles finally gave out, and the ancient magic that generates the water for your region failed to propagate.
Piratesh.
I would like to make another insight check on that.
Okay, go ahead.
Piratesh. Will we find Maethor on our travels?
Marina, you definitely get the sense that she's lying.
Listen, this water business is very important to all of us. I understand I'm not in a position to demand anything of you, but please, we need honesty.
Very well. I was afraid to reveal where the source of the water comes from, because I do not want you all to get caught up trying to find it. The ancient magic that powers the water generation, powers these chambers, powers everything, is deep beneath the surface. That is what this tunnel is for. The ancients have created an infinite power source, and I do not want you all to try and find it and mess with it and ruin the livelihoods of residents of all throughout Solstice.
I can understand wanting to keep that away from us.
So, what can you tell me about the Aarakocra area? You said those out east, but even then, most Aarakocra come completely from a different plane and are not of this plane. So, are you telling me that there is a sizable population of Aarakocra just off to the east?
The Aarakocra do reside within the material plane, but yes, they are. Their origin is of another region entirely, from the kingdoms that you've come to know.
Will we find Maethor on our travels?
Maethor. Please, enlighten me. Who is this Maethor?
Your spouse, god of the earth?
Ah, yes, of course, my spouse, Maythor. I do not know what has become of Maythor.
Are
I
you
do
guys
not think you
divorced?
will encounter him. Yes,
Yeah, I'm sorry
divorced.
you
Maythor
forgot
and
the
I
name
are
of your spouse.
divorced. What'd you
This
say,
seems a
Otto?
little dubious. Can I make an insight check?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, my spouse. And watch, I roll a freaking 1.
I'm not a
I
system.
laugh.
Can
You
you
can't
assist on
really
insight?
assist an insight check.
Uh,
I'm gonna.
Okay,
You can do your own.
You
if
got
you
it when
want.
it counted. Oh my god.
I
All
did
right,
okay
so
this time.
she's definitely clearly she seems very disgruntled about like she seems like awkward and embarrassed maybe about the question.
So who
Okay,
cheated?
does-
Can we please not discuss Maythor? I already told you one thing I did not want you to know.
Well, I mean, is he gonna be a problem for us? Is he trying to stop the water?
No, Maythor does not exist any longer. Let
Oh,
us,
you killed
let
him.
us
What
leave it at
happened
that.
to him?
On our plane, there have been many battles. Maythor succumbed in one of them.
Oh, I think Queen Meanwhile is going to be a little upset to hear that. Although, how do you kill a god?
That is definitely not something I'm going to reveal to you folks. Please
Understandable.
heed my advice and save the Aarakocra people from dying of thirst. Save your people from the Dominion, and then we will work through the plains until we've restored water for everyone.
So then,
So tell
Did-
us how to repair this console here, because it looks like the root had crushed something.
So as she turns to you, Sakara, and she says, "I have I forgot the word. What's the word I'm looking for? Not amulet. Well, we'll go with amulet for now because I can't think of the word." She's like, I have prepared a special amulet. Please step to the console you have activated and retrieve it.
Before that, I must ask. I understand that you want us to stay away from this infinite power source because it could be dangerous in the wrong hands. However, how
course.
does reactivating these consoles help that? The infinite power source has stopped running or something?
These consoles direct the energy to the areas that control water generation, the sunlight, everything that you know in your world is managed by magical systems powered by this ancient magical energy.
which one controls the water? Is it the one over out east, or are there multiple ones that we have to fix?
There are multiple. First, we must fix this console to restore water to your region.
The console right in front of us?
Yes, the console that you have activated has prepared the amulet. Please retrieve it. And Sakara, you watch as a disc pops out of a slot on the console. It looks just like a mini CD.
I take it
I'm gonna
and
grab it.
carefully tuck it into my travel bag.
Audubon, did you say you're trying to grab it?
Yeah, I said dibs and I reached for it right before he said he
All right,
grabbed it.
You both need to roll.
I peck at his hand.
Let's see. What's the best thing for you guys to roll? I guess
Attack roll on the
acrobatics.
peck, I guess.
I would argue Dex might be a better pick.
Yeah, let's
because
just do
it's who
generic
outspeeds.
dex. Both of you roll
All
a
right.
dex.
Damn it!
Okay.
Hold on, just one second.
19.
Trying to find my little board.
19 on dex.
Dexterity is on the front page of your sheet.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
All
So
right,
Sakara,
breakaway
you
guy.
managed to peck at his hand and steal the disc away from him.
Damn it, you turkey!
And you take the amulet and
Get
you
your feathers
pocket
ruffled.
it. And she says, "It's very good. Please take the amulet and place it in the console once you get to the Aarakocra region. It will restore the ability for the system to control the water flow."
So wait, so it's not this console that fixes the water for our little corner of Solstice.
No, it's the console next to this one. that's not yet been activated.
That makes sense.
It looked in pretty bad condition back there. Can we restore it?
You may take the power cable that is plugged into the back of this one. It supplies it with the energy it requires, and plug it into the other one. You will no longer hear from me, though, as I will not be able to materialize in this plane without the utilities of this console.
Before I do that, then, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
So I've noticed that all the water around us, it's kind of magical, and so is the water I make. Could you explain why it's magic?
I'm afraid I don't know why your water is magic, but the water generated from the systems that are controlled here is imbued with the magical energy of its power source.
One last thing, before I head back behind the consoles again, can I get a read of how she feels about me? She's annoyed at the questions I asked and how much I pressed on her.
You can do an
Great
insight
job,
check.
Blueface. You pissed off God.
Well, that's what I'm checking for. Chev?
I said roll an insight check.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Maybe after that you should flirt with her.
That'll be a natural one.
We don't have
That
a
is
bard
a-
in the party.
That is a 12.
Okay, so you're trying to read her, and it's hard to read her because she's just very otherworldly, but she doesn't seem to be annoyed with you.
Isn't Autovan a bard?
She maybe is annoyed at everyone's questions about Maythor and stuff. That seemed to bother her.
Alright, I'm gonna head back behind the console and be ready to unplug. I'm gonna call out from back here. Anything else we need to ask her?
No, I will not be able to contact you all until you have reached one of the other consoles. It uses a lot of energy for me to be able to talk to you here, so I will need time to recharge. By that time, hopefully, you will have reached the destination that I have given you.
Before she does that, I go, is there a new secret code to get the door open on the other location?
I do not know if there is a door on the other locations. Until you can summon me there, I do not know much about the specifics of the region. Only that the
That's
water
going to be
is
a
no
little bit
longer
difficult
flowing.
if we have to move a big giant door like the same way we did here to be able to reach you.
That is up to you
Can-
to figure out. Go ahead, Violet.
Can you tell us? You said that you don't know a lot of the specifics of the region. Can you give us an idea of the kind of place we're going to? Where we live is kind of dry, but still, it has its amounts of greenery and it has its water and its mountains. Do we have any idea what kind of region that is, or?
Unfortunately, I do not know. I can
If
only
my
be
people
summoned in
live there,
specific
expect
locations.
lots of heights.
I can only be summoned in specific locations. I watch over your world as much as I can. Many of my kind do not care of your world, but I want to restore the water so that you all may prosper. I can't tell you much about the region you're going to until you can summon me there. I might be able to find out more then.
All right, unplug her and plug in the water machine.
Very well. Good luck to you all. And good luck
Thank
to you,
you.
Dragthar. I am sorry about your followers.
And I unplugged the cable.
Okay. And then Dragthar says, "Yes, Piratesh, I will." And then she vanishes.
I say to Jagthar, oh, she must really hate you.
Alright, and I'm going to try to plug the cable into the other console.
Okay, so as you try to pull the cable over to the other console, it's caught up on more roots behind this console, and you're not able to get enough slack to pull it over.
I'm gonna gently place down the cable and use my pick on the roots.
Okay.
I'll give advantage again so I can help out.
Okay.
Alright, so you're behind the console with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna climb up into there too.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead and roll an athletics with advantage, and I assume you're going to use guidance.
Yep.
Okay.
So I have a question for you, Dragthar.
Go ahead.
If we plug this in, the water's going to start flowing right back into the minion hands. Right? I mean,
Yes, I am
they
concerned
have
about the
everything-
Dominion's efforts to steal the water. You have confirmed what I feared the most, and what Piratesh
No,
already knew.
efforts to steal it? No, it's stolen. It's gone. And so,
Remember, she had said that the Dominion failed to steal it.
Yeah.
well, yeah, but I believe what happened was they stole it successfully. That's what the little guy guarding the
No,
treasure chest confirmed.
I'm just gonna tell you, you misunderstood him. That's not what he said.
Spoiler alert: Dominion sucks.
Or it could be that it's going to two places instead of one place now.
The queen was pissed, Audavon, because they were about to steal the water, and when they dug into the area where there should have been water, it was already gone. That's why she was mad. That's the whole point why she was so pissed off.
Right, but if it was the point I'm making still rings true, that if it was gone because of this and she's already reached it or where it's supposed to flow, once we turn it back on, will it not flow right into her hands?
Well, that is
Hopefully
the
it
concern,
floods-
Audavon. That is why we must stop her before we move on to this quest that she has given us.
Yeah, that might take a while. Especially with, forgive me for saying so, but the vast majority of your followers underwater.
I think
Oh,
this
would
is
we
our
both have-
first massive undertaking. Finding this chamber was one thing, but it was very straightforward. Our next task is to overthrow Queen Nero.
Or would we just both have the water? Would both towns have the water?
Hey, guys. Remember, they tapped into a place where they thought there was going to be water, but water wasn't there. What do you think is going to happen when the faucet turns back on all of a sudden? They're not expecting it. The Dominion's
that
going
might
to
be.
be underwater, too.
It'll drown a few engineers, but I think that the machinery will still do its job.
Perhaps we can do something before we turn on the water to ensure that it floods Dominion territory.
How have I done
That is actually a very good plan.
Well, what should we
So-
do? Should we sit here and discuss, come up with an idea? Audavon, you know the layout of the tunnels. What can we do? How are they stealing the water in the first place? And
They
how
have
can
these
we
giant
sabotage
pumps
it?
that go down miles and miles of pipe, and they have these kind of in the general living area. They have these big machines that I assume are to store it. I wonder if some of these, I don't know,
If we
we can
sabotage the
figure out-
storage facility at the other end of the pipeline, would the water flow freely into Dominion territory and flood their chambers?
that depends on where the pumps are. If the pumps are midway through the line and can bring the water to the Dominion, then yes. Then the sabotaging the storage tanks, the water keep on going and would never stop. If the pumps are are housed within the storage containers, then the answer would be no. We'd destroy their storing the water, but we'd also destroy the means by which the water is brought there. So the
Do we
answer to
need-
that question,
Perhaps, do we need to run reconnaissance?
I believe so. If we could determine the locations of those pumps, then and figure out how they are powered, how to switch them on, then
I am
we could
reinvigorated. Let us do this, Audavon. Naya, Audavon, you two. You need to come with me. Let us figure out a plan to do some reconnaissance here without being seen. Once we know exactly how the system works, we can try to sabotage it or recruit more of our group here to sabotage it. In the meantime, Marina, how does it go back there?
How did I do with the roots back here?
You were able to clear them out. It took some time, but everyone's been talking, so you and Violet were both able to clear out the roots there, and you now have enough slack to connect the cable to the other console.
And in response, I say, "I'm about to put this into the other console."
Hold off, Marina. We need to come up with a plan first before we do this. The kingdom
I
has
think
enough
we're gonna
water
need
to
help.
last a few more days.
I think we're going to need help. And just happening to have a few with him royals might really lend some credibility. I could accompany them myself up to Sea King with him and let him know we know why the water's gone and we know how to get it back and see if he can lend some hands. If we run into serious Dominion resistance, I don't think they'll stand much of a chance, but
Are you asking to take us with you to Dominion territory to seek the Queen's help?
No, I'm asking you to come with me to Wilhelmium territory to seek your king's help
Oh,
militarily
King
for this
Wilhelm.
operation.
You want his help?
Well-
He looks nervously at you, Alora.
Well, this is all great and all, but how do we even know if we can get out of here?
So I turn to Audubon and I say, after seeing my grandpa's gaze, and I say, I'm not sure the king would be willing to assist without solid proof of something. He's very unsure.
I give a whistle and I say, the door is shut. Or did you forget?
If we could get about 10 good nights, that would really help. I mean, the problem is with, I mean, just 3 running recon, and then I mean,
do we have anything to bring him besides our word that would give him some proof of what we found?
We do have the amulet that Sakar secured. Perhaps that might convince him. It is of ancient technology.
I don't think
that's a good idea. Does the amulet have anything written on it?
No, it looks pretty much exactly like what you know as players as a mini CD.
I'm gonna speak up and say, should we restore the water now? Because bottom line, we need water to exist in the first place, and then we can figure out how to get it out of Dominion hands.
I disagree. I think that
I disagree as well.
Storage facility should be destroyed first.
It will ruin our element of surprise.
As was noted, Wilhelm has enough water reserves to last several days at least. Trellis is probably in the same boat. They probably have at least enough water to fuel their agriculture or in their farmlands for at least a few more days. The only faction at hand right now that is really hurting without water is the Dominion. And honestly, I think we should be okay with that for now.
That is a good point, Sakar.
Well, I think that we should try. I think with my grandpa and I's word on what we've seen and this proof with the amulet, perhaps we could convince the king to give us a small regiment to assist with taking down the Dominion.
You know what? Sakir brings a very good point. Try this on for size. If we let this go for a few days, the Dominion's going to attack Wilhelm or Trilesta anyway, militarily, to try to steal their water. They're going to have to march across the open battlefield and lay siege and try to steal their resources. If they do that, the main areas where they stay are going to be pretty empty, pretty sparsely guarded, because all eyes are going to be focused on the war effort.
If we wait that many days, though, we'll be putting a lot of lives at risk.
Well, it's true, but if Wilhelm is forced to, either Wilhelm or Trilessa will be forced to give us a diversion that we need to slip down there, sabotage their storage pumps, and wipe the area off the map.
Yeah, but how do you know that if we turn the water back on, both people wouldn't get the water, both cities wouldn't get the water?
Well, only one city would it be a bad thing for them to get the water.
The size of the pumps, they're massive. The Dominion's clearly planning to steal all of the water, redirect the flow completely into Dominion territory.
Good news. Bigger the pump, the easier it is to find.
Well, we know right where it is. It's not very far from here. We just have to go back the way we came, where you encountered us, through a door, down a corridor, and right there is where the exit of the pipeline is.
Well, that's convenient.
Yes,
okay, well, let's say
we were surprised to run into you so quickly.
Let's say we get that done, and then we want to turn the water back on. Why don't we have Marina here turn it on, and then we'll be waiting outside for her, since she can swim underwater.
Well, I believe the water originates elsewhere. It doesn't originate from this chamber. At least I hope it doesn't.
Yeah, no, that would be terrible if it did.
We determined that the water originates from
Welcome back.
one of the caverns near
Thanks.
the water elementals.
Would it be okay if I turned it on briefly, at the very least, to provide more water for our water elemental friends?
Mm,
If we do that, we might tip our hand to the queen. If they
Agreed.
detect
Would
that
that
there's water, they will know that there is something going on.
But would that not confuse them more and make them waste more time?
What if when we turn it on, there's no way to turn it back off?
If we turn it on and the queen sees the water, she will know that... She will probably draw the correlation that Audubon's quest to find the door has yielded some kind of result. Dominion forces will probably try to make their way here to the door.
Okay, well, let's all go there and see what we can do, and not get back up because we need to get this done quickly.
Last thing I said was
overarching.
Let Mirma talk.
last thing I said was how well guarded are the pumps? I don't know if you guys heard that from me though, and I didn't hear the answer.
We didn't. Sorry.
Okay. She asked how well guarded are those pumps?
No,
They were well guarded the last time I saw, but they're probably less so now just because if they're not doing anything, there's no reason to keep them protected.
Yes, the queen was quite upset. She had drawn everyone into a central chamber to basically scream at them all. And now I'm not sure what they're doing now, but I doubt they're guarding a pipeline that's not going to be doing anything.
Well, now might be the time to strike.
Yeah, let's go and see if we can open this door, and then if we can, let's do that.
Oh, I know we can open the door. I opened it. I closed it. I opened it another time.
You opened it from above. We didn't close it or open it from below.
I am concerned if the queen finds her way here, she will travel down this hole to try and find the power source.
Yes, she will.
Dominion forces are great tunnelers. They will find the power source. They might even find it eventually on their own.
Do they know about the power source?
Not yet. We're the first to know.
Yeah, we're the first. I don't think they would find it that easily.
I mean, we don't even know what it is. We just know that it exists.
Well, the other
Perhaps-
Dominion, the Dominion King doesn't know where this door is. I mean, we had to show Audubon where it was.
True, but it's not far from where you were. And then Dragthar speaks up and he just says, Sakare, perhaps you should fly down this hole. See what you can see. Is there an obvious power source down there? It's hard for us to tell.
Is it wide enough for him to even be able to flap his wings?
Yeah, it's
Very
pretty
wide.
Yeah, it's like, let's see.
It's a hole bigger than your
It's
mother.
It's 30 feet in diameter.
Okay, so he could.
Anyone want to give me some light? Awfully dark down there.
Violet?
Sure, I cast light on them.
Okay, so Violet walks up to you, touches you, and you now are imbued with light.
So I go for a flight.
Okay, so you go for a flight down the hole, and what color is the light, Violet?
I'll go with classic white light.
Okay.
So it's a lot easier to see, I guess.
Okay, so you are illuminating the area as you fly down with white light.
About 3,000 K.
You fly for probably about 5 minutes before you finally reach the bottom. And down at the bottom, you see the stone that she dropped down there before it's impacted in the ground. It's kind of made a little divot in the ground, no longer glowing since she's recast the spell. And you see that it's just a pit down there. There's nothing.
Intriguing.
There's no corridors, nothing. You finally get down to the bottom. It's probably at least a mile or two long, as you had to travel for quite a ways. You basically had to free fall for a while, nosedive down to finally get down to the bottom. And it looks like they've just drilled or tunneled a certain distance and then stopped.
In the meantime, could I investigate behind the consoles
Sure.
while I'm back here?
Are you looking for something specific?
No, it's very unusual, so.
I'm going to make an investigation check just to see if I notice anything at all.
Marina, As you look behind the consoles, I assume you're trying to follow like the cables.
Sure.
Okay, so you follow the cables back, and they get caught in a mess of entangled roots and kind of go into the floor. They're very sturdy cables, so for them to be damaged, takes quite a bit of effort. Roots growing over thousands of years is probably the only thing that would have ruined them.
Before I look more at that, could I look at the on the way back there, or like on the route to that spot? Is there anything of interest?
No, it's just a mess of it's more cave and roots growing in to cover it. There doesn't seem to be anything interesting back there.
How does it look like it would be risky to try to pick at the roots?
Risky? No, probably not.
Because I don't want to risk damaging the cable itself.
No, I mean, you can pick there's roots all around you that have clearly grown over this chamber. But then these cables seem to go right into the ground. There seems to be sort of a conduit that maybe the cables are in. So they were like, first of all, these conduits were buried, and then the cables were run through them. But the conduits are only about slightly more than a foot in diameter.
What's a conduit exactly?
Like a pipe, basically,
Okay.
that wires run through.
So basically, I can't go any further to see
No.
where this leads.
No, there's no room. You'd have to basically remove the cable from the conduit before you could even stick an arm inside it or anything, and even then it's still only a foot in diameter.
Alright. Well, unless there's anything else back here, I guess I'll step out. Can I make an investigation check, just in case?
Sure.
Alright, and I'll also use guidance. That is a 10.
You're looking around back there. You don't see anything that's looks very interesting. Just a bunch of overgrown roots and rocks and cave wall.
Alright.
And then Sakir, what did you ask?
I'm going to go ahead and make an investigation check just to see if I can see any kind of... Just see if I can gain any kind of information, or just see if I can notice anything out of the ordinary with what's down here.
Gotcha. Okay, go ahead and roll an investigation. All right, so you're looking around, and it's the only thing that you can tell is that this hole is for however they did it. It's perfectly cut. So it's like well, I shouldn't say perfect. It's not like a perfect cylinder, but it looks like the ground was basically sheared out. Like all the dirt and everything was just like kind of sheared out of the ground. Almost like just someone stuck a big pipe in the ground and then pulled all the dirt out of it. So
Impressive.
Something that you can't really fathom how it was done, basically.
All right, so I fly back up.
It was almost certainly ancient aliens. Okay. Yeah, it takes you a little bit longer to fly back up because you can't nosedive the way you were able to the first time, so it takes about probably 10 minutes. But you finally manage to fly all the way back up to the top of the hole, and you can report back to the group.
Yep, so there's absolutely nothing down there. It is a tunnel to nowhere.
So, Piritesh told us the power source was down there somewhere. Perhaps it must be close by at the bottom. I guess it's not as easily accessible as it sounded.
Or perhaps your god's just a liar.
You do not talk ill of Piritesh. Her powers
Snap.
are divine.
I think
In fact, I take slight offense that you would don her appearance.
in
Take
fairness,
offense all you want.
I'm going to speak up. In fairness, I think most of us can say we have reason to, at the very least, squint an eye to her. She wasn't being very honest with us for a few of the things that she said.
Piritesh does not wish to share all of her knowledge with us. We are young. We are naive. We will use the knowledge that she gives us to destroy ourselves if we're not careful.
She didn't remember who her spouse was.
You will respect Piritesh. If she does not want us to know of Maythor, then we will leave it be.
Well, in the meantime, if you miss her, you can worship me.
I swear, you say one more thing, Sam. I will wipe that appearance you've donned right off of your face.
Fair enough.
Anyway, let's get a move on, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. We got about 7 minutes before 10 o'clock. Do you guys want to do any scouting or anything like that? Or should we just call it here?
I mean, we could investigate around this chamber a little bit.
Yeah.
Sure.
Should we?
I'll do
Roll
an
investigation.
investigation.
Sure,
Yeah.
roll an investigation check.
I'll assist you
Yeah.
and give you guidance. In fact,
Oh no.
Nice. Okay. All right, so you're searching around this chamber, moving roots and rocks and stuff, and you notice something behind this root over here. Something a little kind of stands out. Looks like a little box.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you pull back some of the roots, and it looks like some sort of ancient technology or ancient magical device, and it looks dormant like the consoles.
does it look like a console?
No, so
Top.
it's a box probably the size of like, I don't know, what's a good comparison? Like a CRT monitor. So it's like a single CRT monitor basically is the size of this box. Whereas the consoles were like 5 feet wide.
Is it a Nintendo Switch?
No, that's too
No.
big to be a Nintendo Switch.
It's a
Well, I've
little
seen-
it's a little like looking. It has like a kind of a screen on it, but it's covered in dirt.
There are monitors of all sizes. Can you be more specific what sizes?
So I don't know, like just your standard old CRT monitor. Well, you're young. Back in the
Well,
day,
I
there was like
I
one
have a
CRT
very-
monitor that every computer had.
No, listen, I have a very large TV monitor in front of me, like a CRT TV. So I'm gonna need you to be more specific.
CRT, really?
Yeah, I had it since my family's had it since before I was born, I think.
Okay. Let's see. It's probably about what 2 feet wide at the most.
All right.
The screen
Not
size
even.
of a CRT was 13 inches of the average
you go.
screen. So
13
the,
inch
like the
screen.
actual console piece is huge, but the screen is 13 inches.
Except for where there would be a screen, it actually comes down to a small aperture, and the aperture looks like kind of like glass, but it's caked in dirt. Naya, it's noticing that you guys have seen something over here. Naya approaches. Naya, Dragthar, and Grandpa Willie, and anyone else who's interested, kind of approaches. What have you found, young Violet?
Wait, what?
I think it's like what's over there, but smaller.
Can we wipe it off?
No, I'm gonna go ahead and like wipe it off and everything if I can.
Okay, so you wipe off the aperture, and as soon as you do, a beam of red light kind of shoots forth, but it's like an infrared light. You can't see it except for where it impacts Naya right here. So just like that.
Uh-oh.
So it goes right past you, Marina, and it impacts Naya, and it appears to stop on Naya. You guys see a red light, and
Are
suddenly,
you talking about like a laser pointer?
yeah, basically like a laser
Okay.
pointer. And so you guys see this like
Naya,
red
you
dot
okay?
that's about a couple inches in diameter, and Naya looks down and she just says, "I think I'm okay. It's just a light of some kind." And right as she says that, the eyes of this cave wall basically over here that's covered in roots and stuff just above these consoles start to flash, and you guys hear a
Naya,
Uh, yeah, I'm gonna turn it away from Naya.
So you would go to try to turn it, but you can't. It's like stuck in the ground. And Naya
Okay,
steps
then.
out of the beam, and the beam continues across and seems to hit another detector on the side over here, a little aperture that's sticking out of the rock over there. But nothing seems to change. You just hear, and then Audavon, you're still over by the consoles, right?
yeah, I've just
Okay.
been hanging
Are
out.
you? Oh wait, no, the consoles are off. Excuse me. Okay, so you guys hear this sound, and then basically from the eyes of the walls over here, you see little beams shoot out and kind of lock on to everyone. Everyone make a dexterity saving throw.
Are Violet and I, are we okay? Are we out of the sight? Kind of behind the corner here.
Does it think that I'm the goddess?
No, you're not okay. This thing is able to identify basically everything in this room.
Yeah, but does it think that I'm the goddess and leave me alone?
No, you're still targeted, Sam.
All right, what'd you say I have to do?
Dexterity
Dex save.
Oh, that's in the main one, isn't it?
Yes. It's on the right.
Okay. All right, so Violet, Audubon, and Naya, you guys are all there's like a wind basically that kind of swirls around this chamber. Most of you are able to grab onto stuff. You grab onto roots and everything to basically hold yourself in place. But Naya tries to grab onto this root, and she is tossed a couple feet back this direction, and she falls off the edge, and she's hanging off the edge, and she's, "No, Audubon! No, help me!" And she's kind of holding on to just a little bit of the lip of the edge there. Let's see, Audubon, you are also thrown back into the pit here, and you're hanging on to the ledge. And then who else? Let's see, it was... Oh, no, that wasn't your dex save. Where's your dex save, Violet?
I don't know where it went. I had it. Huh. Okay. Yeah, I still failed it. Weird. My dex save just went missing.
So, Violet, you're pushed against this wall, and you're kind of pushed along. It's kind of swirling wind, so it kind of pushes you along the side of this wall. You're scraping against the wall. And you take 6 points of damage as you're forced along this wall, and you kind of get wedged between the rock and the wall over here.
Is each square 5 feet?
Yes.
I'm gonna try to throw my rope, the one that I picked up, that's 35 foot.
Okay.
To what's her name? Naya.
Okay, so she's just slightly
How
out
much
of range,
damage
so it
again?
stops
Naya,
about.
not Violet.
Oh, to Naya. Oh, excuse me. Okay.
How many hit points? Just 4?
It was 6.
6.
Okay, that works.
Okay, and now for the moment, you are wedged between the rock and the wall there, and you can't move. You throw the rope. Go ahead and roll me a performance. Well, roll me an acrobatics check, Rainbow. Sam. Okay, so you throw the rope, and let me roll for her real quick. Okay, you throw the rope. She tries to grab it, but it slips. The wind kind of takes it, and it just kind of throws it into the hole. But the wind takes it, and it goes... Hold on, let me get this right. There we go. And it kind of swirls around this hole. But Audubon, go ahead and roll me an acrobatics check.
All right. Awesome.
Perfect. Okay, so the rope swings around. You're able to see it, and you're able to grab onto it as it's kind of flying around this tunnel as the wind kind of forms basically a little hurricane or tornado.
I'm gonna
soon
tie it to
as
the
I
root.
reach, hold on. As soon as I get on my, like, as soon as I get a hold of the rope, I'm gonna pull myself out, and then pull out my harp.
Okay.
And
you pull
use it
yourself
to
up,
cast.
and you pull your harp out.
And I'm gonna cast fly, or I'm gonna cast levitate on Naya.
I'm gonna guess you have to play the harp to cast it, right?
Yeah.
So the harp, is there any way to play it with one hand?
Harp is a
I
two-handed
thought I
instrument.
No, I
Yes,
thought I
dude.
pulled myself onto the ground with the rope.
So you did, but you need to be holding on to something for the wind to not just take you again. Because
I'm
everyone
gonna
else,
tie-
everyone
I
else
didn't
has
realize
grabbed
that the-
roots and stuff. That's why.
I'm gonna tie
wind-
this
didn't realize
rope
that the wind was still
securely to
blowing.
the root. I'm gonna say, just walk over to her and grab her.
Okay,
right.
over to Naya.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go to walk over to Naya. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right, so you go to walk over to Naya, and Naya, one of her hands slips off the side as you try to grab it, and she's not able to grab you, and she just says, "Help, Sam, help! I'm slipping!" And her hand, she falls about a foot, and that manages to grab a hold of one of the cracks in the wall right here. So her fingers are just very loosely attached. As the wind is swirling more and more, especially inside this tunnel. It's just forming like a vortex, basically. And so she's
I got an
having
idea.
a hard time hanging on.
I'm gonna take out my thing of 50. I'm gonna take out my 50-foot rope. I'm going to hold on to one. I'm going to cast Mage Hand, and have it grab the other end and bring it over to Naya.
Okay. Let's see. So, what is the force, the lift force of Mage Hand?
No greater
10
than 5
pounds.
pounds. No greater than 10 pounds.
No greater than 10 pounds. Okay. Okay, so you cast Mage Hand to carry this rope, and the wind immediately takes the rope and pulls it away, and with enough force that the Mage Hand kind of goes with it. And so your rope is just kind of going like this, and Naya keeps trying to grab it. You guys got this, right?
I'm gonna
I have
cast
an
a second
idea.
Mage Hand and start helping the first Mage Hand.
I have an idea.
Okay.
I can cast. I yell out to Marina. I can cast an unseen servant. If you tie the rope to my servant, maybe it could go and grab her before she falls.
Does the unseen servant say how much lift capacity it
Well,
has?
so it has a strength of 2,
Okay.
and it can do anything, any simple task that a servant could do. So I could easily say, grab that person's hand. That's a pretty simple command.
Or bring the rope.
While they're
Okay.
doing that, I'm going to tie the rope to myself, and I'm going to jump and grab her.
Okay. All right. So hold on. Let me do another roll for Naya here.
The rope that's tied to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does my second Mage Hand do anything to help?
No, I'm not talking about your
Mage
rope.
Hand. Just as soon as it grabs onto anything material, it also gets blown around in the breeze.
I'm talking about the rope that's tied to the roots.
What about it?
I'm going to tie the other end to myself and
But
jump
Audubon
and
has
grab
the other end.
Naya.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've
Yeah,
got the
Audubon
other
has
end.
the
Can I
end.
just
Oh.
walk over to Naya and with the rope in my one hand try to reach out to Naya?
I don't know what you're saying, Mr.
We're
Robot,
losing
though.
you, but I think you're wanting to watch.
He said he
Audubon,
wants to
Naya.
get up and walk over to her and reach out while holding onto the rope and grab her hand.
Okay,
Okay.
that's what I thought. Okay, so as you walk over, unfortunately, Naya did not roll well, and she slips before you're able to reach her, and she falls into the pit. And the wind is swirling around, and she's, Audubon, no!
Sakare,
She's
can
just
you go down
falling,
there?
and then she disappears into the blackness.
Right when she fell, I yelled to Sakare Sakare, do something.
Not
Could
much
he
I
even
can
fly
do.
in this wind?
The wind is
Yeah, Sakare's like hanging onto this root right here, just like flapping in the wind.
strongest in there. Even I can't fly through that.
Well,
I could try to cast sleep on her, so at least it's she's...
It's too
Float
late.
more.
She's disappeared into the darkness below. So, after a minute of you guys all hanging on and the wind swirling around the room, suddenly the sound it shuts down. The little beam of light stops, emanating to this other detector over here, and the eyes right here that are glowing go dark again. And then the wind slowly comes to a stop, and you guys are all able to move around again. And that's where
Audubon
we'll
goes
leave
up
it
to
for
the
this
edge.
week.
All right.
Alright.
So that's what the phrase attempts to mean. Curiosity killed the cat.
It's alright, we'll go find a cleric. We'll bring her back. It's fine.
I thought you guys were going to make it out of this chamber. Just like nobody had asked to investigate the rest of the chamber. And so I was like, oh, you guys are going to leave the chamber and not discover the detectors.
So when you were describing them, I thought they were like
Not-
little devices we could pick up. I didn't realize it was attached to the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they were covered in dust over time.
Oh, Grandpa Willie did warn us about booby traps.
Yes, he did.
Well, what'd you guys think?
It was
It was pretty
great.
I think it's a shame that I had a Bring Blast to use Mage Hand like that, but it just didn't work.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mage Hand and the Unseen Servant, like, those were good ideas, but they're not super strong.
No,
And
it's
so
a pity I didn't think to try to just run over to her with the rope in hand earlier.
I kind of figured that they would be kind of immune to, like, the wind on their own, but as soon as they grab something material that's affected by the wind, that would be a force applied to them.
I think that the Unseen Servant can handle a lot more than the hand, though, to be honest.
Can it with a
Yeah, I
strength
don't
of
know
2?
what it. Yeah,
I
I mean,
thought-
that's like basically the strength of like a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would
I
a
thought-
cat have been able to survive that?
I thought the Unseen Servant was like a golem that could lift up a couple $100.
No.
No.
I gotta go,
You're
guys.
thinking of something else.
See you later.
All right, have a good one.
See
Well,
if
the
you
other thing is that it's not really like a thing. It's just a force. The unseen server is just a force.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was like a golem.
I mean, that also wouldn't have worked because Marina would not have been able to see the spirit or the unseen servant enough to give it a rope.
True. But even if it did, like you said, it'd be like a cat holding onto the rope. I think it would just start just
Yeah.
like going like this. Like,
Well, it's not. It isn't a cat. It just has the strength of a cat.
My
Don't take
unseen
the rope.
servant
right,
is not a
Benson,
cat.
that was the joke.
So I'll take the rope over to her and then knock her off the ledge.
Well, I think that's the first death of the campaign.
If she's dead, you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we have someone that went down there and has seen what's at the bottom. I don't think it's gonna magically turn into a mattress.
I'm just saying,
You
you
never
haven't
know
seen her
who's
body.
magic. Let's check first.
And also, it was just the GMPC, so
Yeah, I was actually surprised at how bad she was rolling. All right, well, we're still streaming, so I'll go ahead and say goodbye and good night to the stream, to anyone who is watching, and we will see you guys on Wednesday, hopefully, for Tomb of Annihilation, and then again next Sunday night for another Solstice. Thanks, guys.
Wednesday is
Please stay the fuck inside.
Yes.
Bye.